All right, we should be good to go here. Good morning, cyber traders. Welcome on back in TGIF. Great to have all of us back here this Friday morning joining us here inside our live trading room. Give me a quick sound check across the board. Let me know if you can hear me loud and clear. Should be good to go. Hopefully I am on social media, at least Facebook Live, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, the works. I know I'm good to go inside our live trading room. Great to see Chuck, Lawrence, John, Grant, Danny, got Ray, got a bunch of us here just joining us live this Friday. So hop right into the thick of things, right, as we always say. And actually, to begin, I had asked this in the general discussion tab inside our live trading room. So for all of our members there, just hop over to the general discussion tab. You'll see what I was just asking there. What's everybody got going on for this weekend? What you got planned going on for this weekend? Doing anything nice, exciting, maybe relaxing, either way? Ron, Long Island native right there, my neighbor essentially, although I'm in Florida now, says watching the playoff game Sunday. There you go. Nothing really better for still kind of late 2024, early 2025, of course, NFL playoffs. Margaret saying, my grandson playing volleyball. Well wishes to him. Hope he kills it. Hope he does well. And then for all of us otherwise, let me know what you're doing. And then, hey, I want to begin with this ELAB stock, ELAB. And to begin by going over this, I guess I have to talk about the stock from yesterday, right? The DWTX. So DWTX, this thing, they're unrelated, but this ended up making a ridiculous move, like a 700% move, right? Across the duration of the morning into the day. It actually had a decent order book when it was around like $4, $5, $6, but then the spread got bad. So this was not like an easy trade. You know, if you're able to get a good entry, maybe you're able to play it a little bit more risk on and try and hang on, look for that better push. But, hey, it's easy to say. This ended up making a hell of a squeeze up towards nearly $30. From there, well, we know this. What goes up comes back down, and we're not as likely to follow this stock going into the day today. But this brings me back to ELAB. Why? Because once there's one stock that starts going nuts, well, you start getting the other crazies that start popping up out there, right? Start getting all these other stocks making these wacky 200, 100, 300% moves, whatever it may be. So ELAB, it's up 106% now, but it was up even more earlier, just shot up from like $3, broke over my lines here, resistance that we were calling out point blank. This is right from the daily chart, if anything, though. Built up pretty nicely here on the intraday, broke out here, essentially a Fausto flag built, broke out. And now at this point, I would love to try and get resistance to flip into support. It did break a lower low just a moment ago, but then from there, kind of squeezed. So I don't know if we're going to get this test of support here coming up. We might just build back up higher from this point, but let me just show you what I was looking at here on the daily chart. Just it's a stock that's been dropping off, right? This thing's been getting clobbered. I'm sure there's been some sort of reverse stock split in here in between, maybe even recent. But just to mention, with today's move up, well, the last time it ended up spiking, it was all the way back here, mid-December, about a month ago plus. It gapped up in pre-market. It popped up here, then spiked all the way down. So, I'm using that once again as resistance. And then actually that was also pretty good support. Built out pretty nicely here back from early November last year. Bottomed out, I guess this is the very bottom here, 322. But you could see right around 350, 355-ish, 342, that same area, built out pretty nicely as support. So I'm basically using the combination of the two. Well, the combination of resistance should become combination of support. Simple as that. I'm going to put this on our watch list at least to begin, though. So ELAB, hopefully it ends up making a better move either way, whether it ends up going to my support level or if it holds higher and breaks higher going into the open. Let me just check the news out on the stock. All of us here on YouTube, social media, feel free to hit the subscribe button down below. Just make sure that you're in tune with our live streams each and every weekday, Monday to Friday. All right, PMGC Holdings. I don't know what they have to do with the lab, ELAB, either way. They announced its North Strive Bioscience subsidiary will present at a symposium, a bunch of words that I can't barely pronounce, on anti-obesity treatments. All right, so whatever that leads to, led to a great reaction so far from the street. Now, actually, let me bring this back up because we've been talking about this all from the last couple of weeks here, both myself and Fausto. Just you don't want to trade these very low float stocks, especially the more that they run up and up and up. So granted, it's up 100%. It could go up even more. It's a 3 million share float stock. So it's very low float to start here today, folks. Let me see if I could even get my level 2 here open. I had it up just before. That's my time in sales. Where are we at here? Get my volume here showing. There we are. That was it. So it's trading 27 million shares so far. Market hasn't even opened up yet, right? Obviously, we're doing pre-market right now. But by the time it's 9:30, you're going to see this thing spike up to like 50, 60 million instantly. It's going to be up to 100 million probably by like 10:30 in the morning. So that's just where we say for a stock on a lower float, it's higher risk the more volume it's already trading. More volume it's already trading there. So ELAB will keep on our list for now. The ALUR, though, is the bigger pop of the two. Ended up making a larger run here throughout pre-market this morning, 7 a.m. Eastern time. I'm sure some news came out here of its own. Jump right back to Benzinga Pro here. Got Newsman Levitan here for you this morning, ALUR. All right, from last night, this came out from, of course, 4 o'clock yesterday. Trading higher after the company announced its intention to initiate a clinical study combining its ALUR program with GLP-1. Okay, so that's what we do know. GLP-1, we know what that is, right? So that's obesity as well. So it looks like if it's not just relating to both of these trades, but it could be in relation to just obesity across the entire medical sector, pharma industry, maybe more news coming out, the whole GLP-1 thing. So this ended up having a huge reaction all the way up towards just about 20 bucks. Let's jump to the daily chart here. This sticks out. That's as clean as anything, right? I mean, 20 bucks resistance. Then if you really want to look at like the peaks back prior to that, you could even go up to like 22.10, right? Right around 22-ish. But that 20 level is pretty strong. And once again, it's holding here this morning pre-market. So I'll put this on our list. Hey, if you want me to put it on the list, I'll put it on the list. Just, hopefully there's more to it. Just I'm not really expecting as much. So let's see what else is out there, at least for right now. You have the ELAB, ALUR. Then this one here too, EVAX. Now, this one, I think that we did trade more off MPOX news that came out like from last year. I remember that with EVAX. So let's see what they're doing now. EVAX completes dosing in phase 2 trial with personalized cancer vaccine. Trial remains on track for completion. Data readout in the second half of 2025. So a couple things with this headline. 2025 second half of. There's a lot more time to get towards the second half of 2025. So a lot of things could happen, but not just that. I say that also because it's only phase 2. There's phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, much like our stock trading course, which, by the way, for any of our bronze level students and above, a lot of us here joining us here. I mean, if you have the Cyber Group Plus membership, you're going to be able to take part. We have our phase 1 stock course concluding today, at least later on this morning and this afternoon. So stay tuned for that. But here in the land of pharma business, phase 2, there's still more room to go. There's primary and secondary endpoints with this stuff. Then there's phase 3. Then there's primary and secondary endpoints with that. And then maybe there's FDA approval. So it's a long road with all the pharma stuff and all the drugs that they, promote, come out with, think about, whatever it might be. So again, another one I'll put on our list just for the time being in hopes of it trying to make a move up. This is the weakest of the 3, I'd say, just because since 7:55 in the morning, this thing's been making lower highs. I guess support's trying to build here, but this move looks to be the most done of those 3 that we've talked about so far. All right, so I will say we talked about the big mover from yesterday. We did pretty well on that DWTX. We had a couple of others just briefly. Just shout those out pretty quick. Vince, our new friend Vince, ended up making a pretty good push from pre-market into the market open from basically 4 up to 550. Now, I will say nuclear was probably our best play throughout the duration of the afternoon. So LTBR, nuclear stock, took off. OKLO, big pop in the morning. SMR, same business right there, same deal. And then also NNE. NNE made a hell of a pop earlier in the morning, but the issue with this is just the spread. Order book's very thin for this type of stock, given the float. Now it's even more expensive. So that kind of plays into effect as well. Ravi here in the chat saying that seems to be old news on EVAX. What, the most recent one that I showed or the MPOX one? The MPOX I said was old news. That's the last time we traded that stock. If you're referring to their personalized cancer vaccine, that's the more recent news that they were just talking about. Chuck saying the OKLO superstar for him today, moving up a little now. Yeah, definitely. So, we're going to come back to the nuclear stocks at the end of this meeting. If they still look good, if they're still shooting up well, if you don't really have as much to put on our list, then we'll definitely focus on them. They're definitely on our side list, if anything, Chuck. And if I know you, I'm sure that you're going to go right back to the well on that OKLO because you did very well on it yesterday yourself. So let's go from top to bottom at least here, see what we can build up. I mean, NVNI for right now, at least, this seems to be the hotter hand, has a good spread, has a good order book right away. That stock I like a lot more just for the time being. If it just dumps off after the open, we'll at least then move on. But right now, looking good. Let's go over RNAS pretty quick. RNAZ, you can tell looking at the daily chart or the intraday chart yesterday. So going back on this low float stock, we were saying the same thing on this as we just said before in the others. Ended up making this big pop over 5, moved up pretty nicely, surprisingly broke higher. So from there, you're wondering, okay, at what point are we going to see this thing fall off? Well, it kept getting halted. That was the thing on this. It got halted once, got halted twice, a third time on the way up. And pretty much from there, it was game over. I mean, it was very difficult to even try and jump in after it reopens from a halt. You just tell looking at how fast it opens up and freezes again, gaps up shortly after. It made it very difficult for anyone to even try and take this trade. That's the danger with taking this trade, because once you have a decent opportunity, you think that you have a chance, you're on the downside, and this thing's already crapping out the other way. So, it's like the Burj Khalifa. It's not even a Christmas tree. That's like the Burj Khalifa pattern right there, just straight up, straight down, as narrow as could be. Bam. And then, obviously now making lower highs now at this point. All right, so we'll keep it moving. TWLO Twilio back on the up and up here today. I'm assuming off earnings. If they were more liquid this morning in pre-market, I'd trade them, but I'll pass. SES was also a nice push from yesterday too, wasn't it? SES, LIT. Well, I don't know what happened to this one this morning. We'll get to that. LITM was a good trade yesterday too. Don't let the chart fool you here. This actually made as good of a pop as that SES. That's why I brought it up. We'll get to LITM in a moment there. But, SES holding up a lot better today, at least up 14.5% from the close. You know what? I'll give this another shout here, see if there's more to it. See if it can at least retest 150, if not break over it. All right, let's see what else we got going on here, folks, across the gainer side. Rerun this here, actually, see if there's anything looking even better. Yeah, here we got a couple more pops coming in here. Triple D. Got Dan here joining us. Not our student Dan. I'm talking about Dan the stock. I'll see my way out the door with that one. All right, AFRM. I mean, hey, this is up a little bit today, right? Check out SoFi. SoFi is the more liquid of the loan stocks right there. And, it's not up 5%, but it's breaking higher right now from yesterday, isn't it? So I like SoFi a lot. This is a very strong trade as a swing trade, as a day trade now too. AFRM's up more, but it's just less liquid, more expensive. That's it. All right, let's hop over to the loser side here, seeing if there's anything looking just as good from there. Make sure my volume criteria is looking good. There we go. All right, so LTBR pulling back right now. So out of the nuclears, that's looking the weakest so far. It had a great run up yesterday, so it could still build support from here and bounce back up. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, for now we'll pass on LTBR. JUNS trade, EONR. Let's go to that LITM just to show the news out on that stock. I mean, this doesn't surprise me. This is just like another day that ends in Y. Why is this down 33% this morning? Well, my guess would be, and I swear I'm not looking at this beforehand. I'm just going to press enter right now. Common stock offering, direct offering of shares or common stock offering. Doesn't even say it. Wow. So it might not just be any news. No, there's got to be something with a common stock offering, direct offering of shares, maybe something with the board, something bad happening with the board of directors. Wouldn't really be thinking that at first. But yeah, for this stock to make a nice push yesterday, 150 to 175, it was a good little day trade. It was up in the pre-market there. Well, we don't turn these into swing trades, right? That's the last thing that you want to do. I mean, you could tell right away once this begins to pull back and it builds back under this peak, but just breaks lower and lower, and then the gap down, and it's bad news. So my thought was that this was a common stock offering, direct offering, and we see that pretty frequently on these small cap stocks. So All right. Any other things looking good here as a short? I don't really see any good shorts here right now, which is fine by me. I'm rooting the market on today to keep going higher. So I'll hope to see the SPY test 610, break over that today. All right. So for all of us on social media, Facebook Live, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, the works at CyberTradingU popping up should be on the lower left here coming up. Let me know if anything else is looking good here. And for all of our students, otherwise, Kathleen, Margaret, Steve, Leda, Rich, got Sam here. What's everybody got going on for the weekend here? So some more answers as well. Sam saying, taking a week to drive to Colorado to do a week of skiing in Breckenridge. My speech impediment there. With a bunch of guys. See friends and relatives on the way out and on the way back. Oh, that sounds fun, Sam. Have fun. Safe travels. There we go. All right. Any other stocks we got here, folks? Looking good? Oh, Barb. Yeah, confirming for me. Okay. Barb's better than Benzinga Pro. I got to go to Barb for my news feed now. Barb beating Benzinga Pro on the news feed right there, saying LITM. Yeah, it was a $1 price for the offering. All right. So we're correct there. All right. So anything else looking good, though? The video we'll check out. Yeah, wow, that's a hell of a pop. Hello, nice to see you. What happened here? This has to be news related, I feel, right? You know what? We just said it before. Barb, what's the news on NVIDIA? You know what? Here, maybe this is why it's not showing up in their news feed here, but it's showing here though. Otherwise, there's some stuff going on from early this morning. Is that? I don't see 9 o'clock though. All right. Well, if anyone's got the news, let me know. This might be in relation to Stargate, Star Wars, Star Trek, Stargate, whatever it might be. NVIDIA. What else was there? Oracle. I know the other one was OTC, SoftBank, right? Microsoft is also involved with the whole AI project there. I don't really see much happening though, so, outside of NVIDIA. So we'll take it. Hey, we're gonna add NVIDIA right to our watch list. Great shout from Sam. I just wish that there was some news that we could read here. That's all. All right, Benzinga Pro Scanner. Before we finish up, NVNI already on our list. That one's breaking higher as we're talking. So, we don't really need to add much more, right? Like what we got. Verizon with NVIDIA partnership, Yehuda. Is that it? Oh, I got it open right here. Let's just check. Let's go to VZ. Yeah, from the earnings, right? Looks like earnings sees Frontier deal closing early 2026. That's with Frontier, though. I don't know what that has to do with NVIDIA, but it looks like Verizon earnings. There's got to be something with NVIDIA here, right? Let's just check out VZ and FYBR, which is Frontier. Verizon, it's moving up a little bit. Verizon's kind of a slower moving stock. Better for dividend payout. That I know. All right, typically they have been good for that over the years. FYBR not doing anything. So, hey, for right now, we'll keep with what we got. I like what we got here, folks. So, hey, best of luck trading going into the market open. For all of us not joining us inside our live trading room, have a great weekend coming up otherwise. Back to a full week, right? Finally, I think that at least for the next 3-4 weeks, we're done with holidays, right? No mas, no more. We had, Thanksgiving into Black Friday. We had Christmas, New Year's, Martin Luther King, of course. Finally, we're back in business. Got a full normal week of trading at least here ahead of us. So have a great weekend. We'll catch you back on Monday. And then for Margaret, Chuck, Bell, all of us inside our live trading room, just post the watch list here for you. There we go. And we will be good to go, folks, coming up in just about 11 or 12 minutes. Talk to you soon.